You're looking at here is an MRI image of a 33-year-old patient who had over 12 cc of hyaluronic acid filler injected.
Hi, dermatologist here. A lot of y'all have asked me about this video that went viral. We're gonna go through a series of videos from this same plastic surgeon, and I think I'm gonna add some much needed nuance to this conversation.
Now, the area that is green is the hyaluronic acid filler.
Let me just tell you something. 12 cc's of filler is a lot. The filler has been potentially placed in areas where we normally see filler. Lips, cheeks. I'm not really shocked by this.
When we measured the amount of filler, the amount of volume that was there, it ended up being close to 28 cc. And what this shows us is that hyaluronic acid fillers are hydrophilic. That means they love water, and they also cause tissue expansion.
This is not new information. We do know that hyaluronic acid is hydrophilic. That's why it's used as a humectant in skincare products. It actually holds on to water, and that's what gives you some of the plumping effect from fillers. This point about tissue expansion, there really is no data or science showing that or showing the change over time. And I mean, I don't think we're ever gonna get it. A lot of it depends on the areas injected and the volume that's injected. I'm not saying people who get like tens and tens of cc's aren't necessarily stretching out tissue. You're getting half a cc. If you're getting dilute fillers like hyperdilute Sculptra, there may be a difference. There's a difference between extreme cases and the average patient.
A common question we received on our last video was, do fillers block your lymphatic? One of the most common places we usually see complications related to HA fillers is around the eyes. Patients develop on and off swelling around the eyes after having had fillers to the tear troughs or midface.
To one of my points earlier, some of the concerns are going to be site specific. Any injector worth their salt will know that under eye filler is very finicky and causes swelling a lot of the time in a way that we don't see clinically in other areas. It also tends to last a really long time around the eyes. Like I said, nuance is needed. I rarely do under eye filler for this very reason. It's important in this area to be really judicious with the amount of filler that you're doing too, because you have to anticipate the swelling, so it's easier to overshoot it.
Although it is more common after multiple treatments, this can happen with just one treatment. We wanted to investigate to see if fillers can block the lymphatics, which is your body's natural plumbing system. The answer was yes. What you're looking at is an imaging study that maps the lymphatics using a fluorescent dye. The patient received 2 syringes of HA fillers to her tear troughs and midface more than 5 years ago. On a typical person without fillers, the fluorescent dye would disappear within 24 hours. However, she still displayed fluorescence for 4 to 5 days.
I spoke about this specific issue back in February in response to another creator's video. I believe they were talking about this same line of research, looking at lymphatics and drainage in people who had had under eye filler. It seems some of the claims being made back then were very outrageous. I would like to draw your attention to some issues with these claims, especially after I've read the publication that this doctor published about these findings. So there was not a study done. This is actually a case series, basically a descriptive text about findings and treatment plans in several patients. The exact number of patients in this case series was 5, which is not a lot. Also, they were not compared to any control group, which is something that you do need to jump to conclusions. 3 out of the 5 patients that they were looking at had other procedures done in the cheeks and midface, so around the same area, including fat transfer, other types of fillers, etc. I think it's really difficult to specifically blame under eye HA filler for the findings when the majority of the people that you're looking at had multiple procedures done. It goes back to my point about the nuance of looking at like the extent of procedures that people are doing. That's quite often lost. Without that nuance, I think that this could be a little bit alarmist, especially to be shown to millions of people. We exist in a context.
So I want to talk a little bit about the MRI image we recently shared that went viral. This video beautifully showcases how these products look beneath your skin. There is nothing new that I mentioned there. I mentioned that these products are hydrophilic, and they are. I mentioned that they last many years, and they do. They last 10, 15 years. And I mentioned that these cause tissue expansion, and that's a known fact.
Again, yes, we know a lot of these things. The tissue expansion piece, I would like to see some evidence on that. I would like to see some nuance on that. As far as how long fillers last, a lot of the numbers that we have are based on how long people were followed in trials. So when we say, oh, you know, a certain filler lasts 6 months or up to 18 months or whatever the case may be, like that's how long they followed people. Can they last longer? Yeah. What I've found is that in certain areas, it lasts longer than others. In the under eye area, in my clinical experience, HA fillers will definitely last longer than in an area like the cheek or the lip. Saying 10 to 15 years as a blanket statement, I think is a little bit of a reach.
So should you panic because your face is gonna double in size tomorrow? The answer is no. I'll tell you who's panicked. A lot of people in the industry are pushing me back saying, well, we need to do more research on this topic.
I know me personally, I just want to get to the truth and not alarm people before we really know things. Like I said, this needs nuance. Sadly, this video doesn't have as many views as the initial one that I showed. So a lot of people got that unnuanced, like scary thing with the creepy background music and not the one where he gives more context. Like, I really think this is a more informative video.
All that MRI is doing is just showing you these products underneath the skin. I am all for research. We do tons of it, by the way.
And again, this research that he's showing is a case series. So it's not, to me, that's not research. I think it's a good case series. Like, they have a good treatment plan there, in my opinion, for treating these people that end up with like large swelling under the eyes, but no control group, not enough subjects, and also these are people that have had multiple procedures done.
Telling me that I need to prove to you that all these people walking around looking overfilled, that their tissue didn't expand, that these products are not responsible.
That use of the pillow face filter felt very unserious to me. We really need to look at this on a scale of severity. Not everybody who gets filler is overfilled. I always say, like, you never realize when you're looking at good work. The type of work that I do and that the colleagues that I admire do is quite often undetectable.
I am not against HA fillers. I think when used beautifully, they certainly have a role in our industry, and we use them all the time. What I'm against is this narrative that aging equals volume loss, which is not true.
So see, we're in agreement on some things here. Volume loss is a component of facial aging, but it's not the only one.
We're using of these products is leading to this dysmorphia that we're seeing around. So that's what I'm against. I hope everyone calms down.
I love the posting a video where you get 10 million views to get everybody riled up and then say that you hope everybody calms down. Yeah, there are a lot of people out there that are overdone. And I think that there's many reasons for why that is. Personally, I feel like we're conflating two issues here. If we're looking at safety and efficacy of HA fillers, that is a different issue than people being overfilled. It's a different issue than people who are like doing bad work. So yeah, I don't think this is a reason to freak out. In Dr. Parsa's words, calm down.